Pardon me. Okay, we're getting into Polina Gagarina singing Hurt by Christina Aguilera. It's just been a rough morning for me. If you want more of my reactions to Polina herself, make sure to put all your requests down below. I am especially going to be looking at them this time because I have finished all 3 that were most requested. Akuku, Lullaby, and Raindrops, or Raindrops and Lullaby. And now this one. After this, I'm gonna do like a couple to a few more reactions straight of just her, and then I'm gonna move on to another artist. So put all the requests down below if you can. It will make it incredibly easy for me to keep going with her. Let's get into it. I cannot wait to get my stupid computer fixed because my volume is starting to malfunction terribly. Very nice job on the pianist's part. I can tell he's playing with dynamics in a professional way.
Seems like it was yesterday when I saw your face.
Wow.
You told me how proud you were, but I walk away. If only I knew what I know today.
Okay, it's incredible. 2 things. First off, it's in a higher key, no, a lower key than the original. In the original, it's in E minor. In this one, it's C sharp minor, which is a full 3 tones lower. And the interesting part about how she started that was that she's canceled out using the low notes she had to her disposal and pretty much whispered those words instead of singing them. It adds so much more depth, so much intensity to the emotional commitment that you just feel sorry for her. And her diction is beautiful in English.
I would hold you in my arms, I would take the pain away. Thank you for all you've done, forgive all your mistakes. There's nothing I wanna do to hear your voice again. Sometimes I wanna call you, but I know you won't be there.
That was the very first time we heard a full belt, and it was just one smidget of a moment. The rest of the time she was keeping everything held back at least a moderate amount, not just in volume, but in breath as well. A stark contrast from how you imagine Christina doing it. So much better artistically. It's not limiting like Christina sometimes does to herself. She's dynamically more capable of doing all of this than Christina seems to be when she gets up into that first passaggio. If I'm not mistaken, when it comes to females, the most common area for a female to need to transition from chest voice to mixed voice is an A4, somewhere around that area. And Christina, I'm not saying she doesn't have a mixed voice, but I have never heard her use it before. She has the tendency to tense her voice and her external neck muscles on purpose for a certain effect, which limits her from being able to sing up there with power and dynamic control, because she's a much better artist for this song, or at least her version sounds much better so far. She was able to pull back that dynamics and then let it out fully for one tiny moment and then pull it back. It's not exactly appropriate when you think about it to just like let it all out there during the chorus like Christina does. If I keep going, I don't know if I'll be able to circle back, but what I have said so far is true. Let's keep going.
I'm sorry for blaming you for everything I just couldn't do. And I've hurt myself.
I'm not laughing at her, it's just
by hurting.
the active choices throughout making it so different from the original. It's amazing.
Some days I feel broke inside by the one it means. Sometimes I just wanna hide 'cause it's your means.
And now we're back to the original
So hard
key.
to say goodbye when it comes to this. Ooh.
Nice melodic change.
Would you tell me I was wrong? Would you help me understand? Or look it down upon me? Are you proud of who I am? There's nothing I wanna do to have just one more chance to look into your eyes and see you looking back. Oh, I'm sorry for.
Just listen to how clearly she mixes her chest voice into the slightest blend. It's such a subtle difference, but it's clear that she's using her voice much healthier than Christina, and that's what makes it just... I'm not saying she's the only one who can do that, because there are clearly a lot of other undiscovered and not even very famous singers who can do the same exact thing, myself included. My point being, it's just such a subtle difference and such an accurate imitation to the kind of strength Christina automatically brings to that part of the song that you can barely hear the difference. The only thing I have to say is the fact that she's letting it be a full chest mix. She's not blending too close to the head side to where it doesn't sound like belting, but it's still a clear, crisp mix that it sounds like a strong, intense, healthy, I must reiterate, healthy belt. And then there are just all these subtle little differences that I've mentioned earlier, such as bringing the key up and then singing, "When it comes to this," instead of, "When it comes to this," like Christina did. All these little things that she's doing, and it's so good for a competition like it seems she's doing here anyways, because when you're in a competition, a singing competition, you do everything perfectly first off with the song, the original song, to the original singer, and then you find ways to change it throughout that adds unique expression from you. And she's clearly done that so far. It's beyond me. Nice growl. Much clearer top than Christina was.
I'm sorry for blaming you.
So smart. So smart. So smart, so smart, so smart. It's just beyond me how these aren't the artists we're appreciating, because there's so much more emotional commitment throughout the entire song. Christina sings it how she sings it, which is obviously what makes her unique, charismatic, and as famous of a singer as she is. But I don't understand why we don't support singers like this, because she's taking aspects of almost breaking down into tears and incorporating that. I don't know if she's faking it, I don't know if it's genuine, but from my eyes and from everyone else's eyes, it's so powerful that we believe her in how heartbreaking the message she's trying to give is. We feel for her because of incorporating things like cutting off short, blaming you, or time. I just need you to know which parts I'm talking about. She's doing so much, and she's not even being theatrical with it like I usually am when it comes to emotional expression, and yet there's so much emotion in it. Despite that, I think it's also important to note that in pop like this, you don't express so theatrically. You try to be more natural, realistic visually when you commit to the emotion of it. It's almost like musical theater acting versus a movie. And on the pop side, they reside in movie acting where it's natural. It's not as big of an expression, not as obvious. It's more subtle, more nuanced, more internal the emotions are than letting them all out so clearly. And then, which is what she's doing for the pop side. And then musical theater is big expressions just so that people can get a feel for what the actor on stage is doing from so far away. That's the purpose behind why they express so vividly instead of vaguely. I just find it interesting how she's leaning on the pop side so incredibly well, and it's much more difficult to master the pop side of acting than theater because you're trying to be realistic, you're trying to feel the emotions inside your body and let everything else out on the outside take a back seat, but not enough to where you look like you're stone-faced. You let the held in emotion guide the rest, but you don't let the rest push all the emotion out like you see in theater. And it's so incredibly beautiful when someone does it right. And this is a very clear example of that.
For everything I just couldn't do.
See?
And I've hurt myself. And I've hurt myself. Oh, I'm sorry for finding you. For everything I just couldn't do. And I've hurt myself. By hurting you.
Nothing about that was fake. I don't think so. Well, that's my reaction and analysis to her incredible, much better than the original version of Hurt. I don't say that often, but wow, she did a good job. It's so obvious that she's an artist and Christina is just a singer. I just don't know how else to say it. That's not to say you can't be an artist if you're more like Christina than her, but you're doing yourself to me at least, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not trying to emulate the emotional commitment she did for everything. This is quite literally the best version I've ever heard. I've also reacted to, I haven't reacted to Christina's original Hurt, but I have that one vocally memorized in my map, or in my internal mental map of how it should be sung. To hear someone jarringly do something different, but make it sound more authentic like this, just makes it so much better. And then there's singers like Gabriela Henrique, who I've also reacted to on this song. You can check out the link in the card right here or in the comments below. I mean, not comments. Well, why not? Comments below. Both of them are definitely more on the diva end who sing a song like this, and there's nothing wrong with that inherently, but it is much better for my taste to see someone who can be a diva but also commit as much to the message and how one personally interprets it. I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, subscribe for more Polina, because there will be, like I said, quite a few more reaction videos I intend on doing with her. So put all the requests in the comments that you possibly can. And if you are looking to get better as a singer, make sure to check out the link below. I have an account on Fiverr where you can book a 30-minute lesson with me for only $20. That's about as much as I can do, unless I can meet you in person, which quite frankly is not possible if I don't know you. So that's an option. Just make sure to check it out if you're a singer and you've watched this the entire way through and want to get better at your own voice. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you saw. And with that said, I'll see you next time. Bye.